right.
Welcome back to another episode of the Day to Day with Daydream podcast. Today I got with me Mr. Midas Print, man. What's going on with you, man?
What's good? What's good? What's good?
That's what's
I'm
up,
glad
man.
to be here. I'm glad to be here.
Man,
Thanks for having me.
I'm glad to have you, man. I remember way back in the beginning of season 2, we had
Yeah.
did my podcast, and then now look at it now, man. This is crazy. How's yours coming along, by the way?
I'm kind of doing the same thing you doing. Is pretty much going virtual.
Okay.
Because I'm not too big on the prop and all the other stuff in the backstage thing. I'm really into volume and consistency, and I said that a lot on my podcast. So now I'm here. I'm kind of like
that's dope, bro. See,
footsteps.
what I love about having it this way is volume. You know, like it's the volume and the consistency. I'm on podcast, like I filmed 2 of them today, bro. Like, and it's way better, and it's on my time. I love the way that it's on my time. And you know, it in the very beginning, it takes a little bit more because you have to wear all the hats.
Yeah.
But that's what's gonna make you greater in the future, because you know how things are supposed to be done. If you want to be a good business owner, you have to be able to wear all the hats because you've done those jobs before, so that you're able to understand what is being done wrong. I don't really like people who like try to get there or try to hire people like you don't even know how to do everything yet. So why would you even do something like that? And then the cost of that is just expensive. And the cost for the cost for training, bro. You know how much it costs to train an employee?
It's crazy.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. It's probably a few thousand, bro. And I'm like, man, listen. It's probably gonna be a while, but I'm gonna have to keep this engine going for myself for a while, for a little bit, man.
Yeah, for sure.
And I just actually finished building. Speaking of wearing all the hats, did I ever tell you on my website?
Nah, I just remember the one you had up when I saw it. Is that the one? Same one?
It's the daytodaywithdaydream.com.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one, man. I had built that one from the ground up, and people don't even believe me. Like
see, the thing is about the websites is it just takes a lot of time. It's very meticulous. That's what people don't understand. Like when you really trying to build by yourself and wear all the hats, it's very meticulous process. And it just takes time. It's not really much about trying to learn anything because everything's on YouTube. But for me, I basically outsourced my website because I didn't want to go through all that, and I was being lazy. But
so you got your website up?
Yeah, but right now, it's not up right now.
But you're working on it.
Yeah, well, it's already done. It's just parked right now, so I'm not really dealing with it.
You know what? Speaking of websites, I think I seen your merch. You have merch out right now?
I think not yet.
Not yet.
Kind of like
was it a shirt?
Showcased it. Yeah, I showcased the hoodie on TikTok. So,
bro, that was fire. Tell me about the process of making that, because I haven't got merch out yet, but I'd love to get started. Tell me about that.
So what I did is probably expensive, but not too much. I kind of like, that was kind of like a prototype. I did use Canva and I just prototyped it. It cost me like $40 for one hoodie just to get that prototype out. But that's the biggest thing for me, was just having a prototype and seeing if people stick with it. That's like my favorite hoodie right now. And I have another one that's like gray, but I didn't showcase that one. That one's like more chill and just when I'm creating and stuff. It's a reminder.
It's the fact that I remember this was on paper. Like I remember seeing this on paper, and now it's in reality, bro. That's crazy.
That's
that transition is insane, bro. Like
it is insane.
Looking back at that, bro, I'm real happy for you, man. And I continue to see you, posting your podcast. And when I have time,
so I have a question too.
Did
you mind map your brand before you even got started? Like you said, the vision. Did you mind map that out? Because I did. I used to be like, I think 2022 or rolling into 2022, I had the Airbnb vision planned out. I had the brand planned out, the merch. So, I want to see if that was the same process for you, just for like people that's watching.
That's a good question. And I remember when me and you had a podcast. I mean, when we did our podcast, I think it was called Designing Tomorrow. You guys should go check that out.
Yes.
I had wrote down, it was real last minute, but I remember you asked me a question. You asked me, what did I write down in that journal? And I really didn't give a clear answer. So let me give you a clear answer. And the people who did watch that, when I was going through what I went through last year, you know, I had wrote down in my journal, pretty much, I wrote down the wisdom, and then I wrote down everything that I wanted to do. It wasn't very detailed, but I wrote it out and made it plain. Like I was at the time, I was looking for studios. I was writing down my business plan because I had joined a mentorship program, and in there I had learned acquisitions, which we can touch into in this episode. I had learned acquisitions, and at the time I was actually praying for a direction to go to so that I can, you know, make more of myself. And at the time I had no guidance, right? And I was like, man, it's not that it was hard, but like we just don't know. And you know, when you talk to somebody and they're making all this money, like they're not working any harder than you are. If not, they're working less. So what's the secret? What is it that we don't know to escape the matrix? And we can dive into that a little bit on this episode because it's very interesting. And at the time, as being a young man, still a young man that I am now, I was just so I didn't know. I didn't know. And you know, that's what I had wrote down. I wrote down like I wanted wisdom, guidance, knowledge, and I was writing down everything I learned in business acquisitions, which led me to where I am now. And when a guy told me one time, and it stuck with me, he said, "Hey man, like it's easier to make 50,000 than it is to save it." And I thought like when you hear that for the first time, like bro, you're insane, because I have to be making 50,000 in order to save it, if not more. I can't even get past making 20,000 or 30,000. You see what I'm saying? So like, what's the secret? And you know, the secret is manufacturing. One of them is manufacturing. I can't even say this. Manufacturing spending, and that's essentially leveraging OPM for OPT.
Okay. Other people's money, other people's time.
Because you're not gonna. You have to leverage their time in order to free yours up. So how do you do this? And you know, I had a mentor a while ago, and you know, he was extremely wealthy. He had to be a billionaire, and he told me, he's like, the hardest thing isn't you know, building a business. The hardest thing that you will ever have to do is figure out what you want to do. That's the hardest part, because once you figure that out, everything else will just fall into place. And at the time, I kind of understood what he was saying, but I didn't, because it was so much information out there. What do I really like to do? Like, you know, you have to really sit there and ask yourself them questions. Like, what is it that brings me, I think it's 3 pillars. And I learned that later, like a couple weeks ago after joining another mentorship program. But what is it that you do? What gift do you have that comes to you effortlessly? And that's something that you should probably try to monetize, because we all got a gift, right? But what is that? What is that gift for you?
Writing is one of them. I know for a fact.
Yeah, so
writing is something that brings me like immense joy. So I know that for a fact. That's one of them. But the other 2, I'm definitely like trying to figure out.
Yeah. I think man, it's crazy. Let me see. Let me try to remember it, man. It was like, you have to find out 3 things. They have to give you, they obviously, so it's passion. It's passion. Hold on, I think I wrote it down. It's deep, man. Hold on. Because this is actually that journal that I used to write down everything in that mentorship program.
Okay.
And I'm finna break this down,
always
bro.
Gotta have a journal.
Always, man. Always. You gotta.
To.
So here it is. So it's passion, skill, and purpose, right?
Okay.
So let me read this to you. The skill is what you use to make money, right?
Okay.
And then essentially, like, your passion at first is your hobby, because if you focus on a 9 to 5, you really don't have much time to focus on yourself. So you know, essentially, you know, your passion is something you do as a hobby, and then you make it a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Okay. And I wrote down next to it, it speaks to your mind, will, and emotion. What do you want to do? And then the other one is purpose, something that you don't know. What speaks to your spirit? All of these things have to be in line with each other in order for you to kind of start to figure out what that is. Because if they're all working in misdirection, you're kind of going to be lost. If your skill is, let's just say, accounting, but your passion is football, and your purpose, you see what I'm saying? Your purpose, you don't know your purpose, because it's like I found my purpose through trauma.
Yeah. Correct.
You know, so
correct.
many people don't know their purpose, and it's sad to say that, but like most people won't find it. They just won't do it. They're gonna go through their whole life thinking that this is what they want to do, and it's not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's their skill speaks to that. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Not their spirit, their skill. Oh, I like
Yeah.
welding. And I'm like, bro, I heard a guy say that one time. I was like, I was like, he was working from like 5 a.m. to like 4 or maybe 5 a.m. to like 7, like long, crazy hours. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is something that you'd like to do. I think the skill comes to you easy, but is that your
Yeah.
purpose?
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So once you
No, I
figure
mean,
that out,
most people don't think about that. They just think about skill, making money, and that's it.
making
It's still
money,
two
bro.
things.
And that's their driving factor, which is why they'll never figure it out. Because what can you do? What do you enjoy doing for free? If you wasn't getting paid to do it, and this is a good way to figure this out. If you're not getting paid to do it, would you do it?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
If the answer is a no, it's not your purpose. Because I
Mm.
can't sit. I have done free things like when it comes to modeling. I have done
Yeah.
free jobs, and I still
Mm.
enjoyed it just as much as I was getting paid. I can really care less
Yeah.
about the money if it came to that. The money is a byproduct of my purpose.
Mm.
In return, I'm gonna make money, but I
Yeah.
enjoy doing this because I can do it for free. You see what I'm
Mm.
saying? Because most
Yeah.
people won't even take the job if they don't, if they're not getting compensated. So
Right.
this is how I know this is not for you. And then you're gonna be in constant conflict with other people because they want to be just as good as you at something, and that's not their purpose. That's not their gift. That's not their
Mm-hmm.
talent. So they compete with you, thinking that this is something they're supposed to be doing, and it's not. And then somebody else who's moving effortlessly is you can't seem to keep up.
Yeah. That's true.
You know. So
And I think sometimes that's more of like aging thing. That's like having that life experience. Like let's say he's in the welding right now. He's liking it.
mm-hmm.
But it's kind of like those type of industries are up and down. Like let's say 10 years from now, 20 years from now, robots start to come into the play.
Exactly.
Let's see how it looks now. Now he's
Exactly.
like forced to go for his purpose,
He
right?
has
Like you
no,
said,
yeah.
trauma. That could be
And
a
that
traumatic experience for somebody like that.
you're right. And at that time,
Yeah,
guess what? Because it's only going to get harder to get money. It's not going to get any easier because
it's
they
not
keep
older you
changing. Bro, it's crazy. They keep changing the rules. And you
Yeah,
will understand, like many people in a system, and they don't understand they being played. And at the end of the day, the pawn and the king and the pawn, or the queen and the pawn, are going back in the same
yeah,
box. So you're, even if you didn't choose to play the game, you're still being played. So
yeah.
you either gonna remain a pawn or become a king. The choice is yours, and you're running out of time.
And I realized something like when you mentioned the pawn and the king,
Mm-hmm.
the pawn is the first one to get off the board and also the first one to move.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have the queen who moves
Yep.
strategically and
Yep.
takes like big, huge moves. But the king takes very, very, very like less minimal, but very
Mm-hmm.
strategic moves.
Exactly.
Now, let's roll into your relationships like with banks. I've been
Yeah.
seeing that too, and I'm like, damn, how you
Yeah.
doing it? And I asked
Yeah.
you, I was like, yo, how you get approved for that? He's like, your relationship with the bank.
Yep.
And I was
Yep.
like, so now when you talk about that, you're talking about how it's easy to make 50,000. You just need to
Mm-hmm.
know how to do it.
How to do it. So
Yeah.
this is the thing, man.
So how did you
And
do that?
so
That's what I want to
yeah,
know.
I can tell you, But remember, I wrote this in my
Yeah.
ebook. And by the way, if you don't have my ebook, it's called
Okay.
Emotional Intelligence, and it talks about this just a tad bit. But at the very
Yeah.
beginning of the book, it says you don't make money based off what you know.
Mm.
You make money based off who favors you.
Mm.
The dumbest people got the most. Like they have like, bro. It's like it's insane. Once you start to play the game, you're gonna see. It's like when people walk into when they walk outside, like they
Yeah.
see what it is. I see like the little numbers that make up the matrix, and like I'm starting to see more clearly. And when I realize that everything is relationship based, I can have no money in the world and no talent. But if I meet the right person, I'm gonna be a whole
Mm-hmm.
lot further than somebody who does have the talent.
Right.
So I was like, okay, let me apply this to the bank. Let's see what let's get something shaking real fast. So so I realized that
That was a good
banks
segue.
are relationship based, and that is because of we are in a system of commerce, right?
Yeah. Commerce.
So
Okay.
so we are, like I said, we are in a system. We are
Mm.
being played by a system that we don't even know the rules of the game, but they
Yeah.
are there, right? And
Mm-hmm.
they okay. So I'm gonna get real deep with this because when
Okay.
I speak, I want to speak in parables, and I don't want everybody to understand me. So you have a social security number, right? And I study consumer law. So you have a social security number, right? That is your original credit card. And there is money tied to that card. And it's called I believe that, I don't want to say what bank because I want to keep this up, but there's, you know, you know, and
I was like,
and
don't say it.
it's tied to money because in order for the Federal Reserve to print money, somebody got to be born, essentially, because they're pledging that loan to your life. This is why every company in the country has an HR, because you are human resources to the country. People will never see that or understand it. Now, let's kind of tie it into the level that we playing at, right? And compared to how I know to play the game is insane. But first, you got to start making the money, right? So how do I get the money? Well, if the system is ingenious, it's designed for you to, okay, so it's designed for you to get rich if you know how to use it. And they have to put it out there in the open because you got to remember the person who created this has to benefit from it too, or they want they want a select few to benefit from it. And I said this in my other podcast. I was like, the Messiah spoke in parables. He did not want everybody to understand what he meant. So now I'm gonna tie that into credit. Okay. Now everybody has credit and it's easy to get, but do you know how to use it? Is that being taught? It's not. So I was like, okay, let me see what I can do, because the quickest way to $1 million is to borrow. Okay. So if I have money tied to my original credit card, because we in a system of commerce and everything is voluntary, let me walk into this bank and talk to them, because essentially that's your team. You want a CPA, a good accountant, and a banker, at least starting off. And I walked in there and I was like, I was familiar with the process already on a deeper level. So like, let me build a relationship with this guy. So I started talking to him and I started dropping some information on him. And he had like, it has to be an exchange of value. Remember this. There has to be exchange of value. You can't get anything of value without at least giving something, or you being the value itself. And I knew that. So I was like, you know what, let me drop some information on him that he didn't know, which he didn't. And he was very intrigued by what I had known at the age that I was at. He was surprised that somebody as in myself or anybody in my age group filed their own LLC. That already goes to show you how, it already goes to show you how far I already am compared to the rest of civilization. And I did it right. So I told the guy, I was like, I started talking about sovereignty. And, the guy was like, you can do that? I was like, yeah, you can do that. And I need your help doing it. Basically, you see what I'm saying? Because like, and he texted me. I got an email from him, and he texted me after, my application or whatever. And he was like, hey, I was like, okay, so tell me more about this, about the birth certificate, social security number, how to operate in and out of that. And he was so confused. I'm like, bro, like, I was, dropping dimes on him, talking about, the right to travel, all type of stuff that, and, I built a relationship with him because he's a banker. So he is somebody that you have to build a relationship with out of knowledge. So you have to know the games and who you playing. You have to know who these people are. You have to know the rules of the game in order to play the game correctly. I knew that walking into the door. So I was like, let me give you some value. And it shocked him, because when he came back from vacation or the next day, he was still asking me questions. He's like, you know what? I'm going to send you to my relationship manager. And, if you're looking for a credit card, because the only way to establish wealth is through credit. If you don't understand it, you're not going to get rich. So I'm like, yeah, man, let me talk to him. And he sent me his boss's information, which he then emailed me. He was like, hey, and here's the benefits of this. And people don't know this, but like I said, you have to know the rules of the game in order to play the game correctly, or at least have a fighting chance. The guy was like, well, if you apply online, there's a higher percentage of denial, because you have to remember how many people are applying on the application on the internet. You see what I'm saying? Like, how many people? Okay. So they have to make it seem like this is fair. Here, I'm gonna give you the application and you fill it out. If you get approved,
nobody want to do that.
Right?
Nobody want to do that.
Nobody want to do it. And it's like, I have to make it clear to you that you have a fair chance on this application. So I'm gonna give it to you, right? Yeah. But meanwhile, I was in it's called a private citizen. In the bank on the wall, it said private citizen relations. And I'm like, why am I on this side? Because the last time I was here, I was on the other side. And he was
Yeah.
like, well, this side is for people who are doing what you're doing. I said, oh, okay, bet. So the guy sent me the information, and I was like, these are the benefits you get by doing it this way. Higher up 90% chance of approval, 90% chance of approval. So if you got bad credit, they're going to still push you through. Because why? You have built a relationship with them. They don't care. It's based off your EQ, not your IQ. So even if you had bad credit, you're still getting approved. That already puts you ahead of somebody else who does and don't have good credit because off a relationship that you established. So I get special rates. I get to choose how much money I want. And I also get to incentives. I get a whole bunch of stuff. It was like 4 or 5 things. I forgot because all I cared about was the money.
Okay.
So I sent the application out and they approved it instantly. Most people take up to 30 days to get approved, but mine got approved pretty fast. And I had got that line of credit. And like I said, I know what to do with it. And even on a deeper level, I don't have to pay it back. And here's why. Because all debt is public debt. So even if I didn't pay it back, I would just exchange it for something else. Because that's what we're doing in the system through the HJR 192 Resolution Act. So the debt's already been paid. And who paid it? The taxpayer. I get the bailout every time. So it's wrong, but that's how the system is. The system is ingenious for the people who know how to take advantage of it. I know how to play the game. So this is why it's working out in my favor. Now, is it fair? I'm going to say that it is fair because if you knew, the same thing can happen to you, but they have to put it that way to give people the illusion that you have a choice and the choice is fair, but it's not. And I just rinse and repeat. And then there's certain things that you would have to know within that branch in order to be successful. And, but it all starts with the relationship. And I know what to do with the money once I get it. So, and that's the only way to establish wealth is through credit. How can I establish wealth through debt? It doesn't work that way. Now, debt control is a little bit different. How to control the debt is different. How to leverage. You leverage the debt, but you gain credit to establish wealth. And don't ever let anybody tell you can't borrow debt to pay for debt. Whoever told you that, you see what I'm saying, is lying to you. You on the right path. You on the right path. So I was like, all right, bet. Because I had talked to a franchise consultant and she told me what I was crazy. She told me all type of things. But she was wrong. I was right. And she didn't want me to think that I was right because I was playing a game at her level. You see what I'm saying? And that just come to control. Like, I'm out here really playing Monopoly. Like, legitimately playing Monopoly. And that's just the game. Like, that's just the game and what it is. So, and that's just on the surface level that I'm telling you this type of stuff. This is surface level.
Definitely.
It get dangerous, man. It get dangerous because once you start messing with that money, the federal government got something to say.
Oh, of course. I mean, that's why I just have to be like very careful what we talk about on here because it's kind of like it has to be private. It can't be too much public speak about it. You know what I'm saying? So
it has to be private. But the point is, if I say it publicly, they're just gonna change the rules.
Yeah.
Because they gotta stay the same, but they're just gonna change the rules, and it sets us back. Think of it like Maze Runner. Each time you run through it, it changes. It's really doing that, and then they changing these laws. Like that's why I'm trying to get this book called The Shepherd's Citation, because even if you won't be able to stop me. It's like, bro, it's what we don't know, and it's called an ignorance debt. And
it's an ignorance debt.
Yeah, it's called an ignorance debt, and that's what it is. You got the rest of the world going one way, I'm going the other, and then they playing us against each other for money that's not even real. But many people would never understand that, so I just stopped talking about it. But
credit's the real money. Credit's the real money.
Hey, listen. I'm gonna say this parable real fast. And you're gonna know what I'm talking about. All right?
Yeah.
Money don't grow on trees, so give yourself credit.
Exactly.
So, hey, you see what I'm talking? You see, like how that's just how they communicate. And I'm like,
Yeah, they've been communicating that way for a long time.
For a long time. If you want to hide something, you know where to put it. but yeah, it's that's essentially how it is, man. And it's just a game, and you got to hang around people who playing the same game because you get the bailouts.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
collaborating with the right people. And that's what I've been big on. Like I understand collaborating with, the content creation community, but let's be honest. At the same time, I want my money. The money that I know is really mine. Like what we talking about?
Yeah, but I mean, on a deeper level, man. Once you understand how the game is played and you
You
claim
won't
life
really
over
care about
yourself,
money.
but yeah, once you claim life over yourself, there's $6 million waiting for you.
Yeah, exactly. But
Right.
after that, you really wouldn't care about money because at that
Nah,
point, you know how to get it. So it's like,
yeah. Because the only thing, and then at that point, man, like once you start really getting into this stuff, you're gonna understand. You got consumer law, you got. I'm sorry, you got maritime law, which they govern you under, because that's why they keep changing the rules because of
yeah,
because of maritime law,
they
and
can tweak
then
that all day.
they
They
can tweak it
created
all day,
that.
keeping you where you at. You see what I'm saying? You got
Yeah.
maritime law, but you can overstand that law is possible. But I can't say how to do that because obviously we're gonna be in danger. But you can be above that law. When they say people are above the law, yes, they are. People are above the law. So you have maritime law, and then over maritime law, you got consumer law, and then over consumer law, you got the law of the land, and then you got which is supreme constitutional law, and then above that, you have the superior, the be all. This is say all be all, which is trust law. Once
Yeah,
you start
trust law.
operating in trust law,
And
untouchable.
and God we trust.
And God we trust. Hey, that's some
Uh,
some
I love
fire right
saying
there.
that. Yeah, I love saying that now. I know. I'm just like,
Because you
God we
understand,
trust.
and God we trust, and you understand now. And I'm like, and they put it in your face, so because they gotta tell you, they have to tell you, right?
Yeah, it's like the Matrix. It's right up under your nose
It's
most of the time.
and it's all voluntary. It is all voluntary, whether you know it or not. They have to tell you. You see what I'm saying? They have to tell you, but they do it through legalese, so it's English, but it's not. And then they confusing you, thinking that this is what it is, and it's not. Like I told you before, the Messiah spoke in parables for
Yeah,
those who for a select few to understand him, because he knew that if everybody had access to the same information, what kind of chaos it caused. That's
yeah.
why, even though, because if I took the information from you, I can use it for my own. But if I don't understand what you're talking about, how can I take it and use
Yeah,
it for myself?
right. You just create more chaos
You just create
around
more
that.
chaos, and then you send people down this rabbit hole, this system that they never gonna get out of. And the people who benefit are the people who make the rules, and he who makes all the rules holds all the gold. So if you follow
Yeah.
the yellow brick road, you gonna understand what I'm talking about.
On your way to see the wizard. Oh
Yeah, I love
man,
it, bro.
yeah, I
I
know.
love it. See,
It'd
I
be
can have
crazy.
conversations like this with certain people because they know.
Yeah,
If
I
I
be
had
speaking in
this,
code.
bro, I'll be sitting here. I'll be sitting here talking to people, and this I was like, they be like scratching their head, and then they
Like,
get defensive because they don't know what I'm talking about, right? And I'm
yeah,
not trying to offend.
people don't read enough to like look to comprehend, and sometimes comprehending takes you to read something over and over
Yeah,
every
over and
time.
bro, when I was reading the FCRA, bro, I'm like, what is this? I couldn't even get past a couple sentences without stressing myself out. But I kept going.
Yeah,
And now I can repair. I can offer creative finance solutions to repair your credit, right? And I can do this
yeah,
now. Like identity theft, okay, whatever. Like I can
yeah,
see, okay, this is game. I know how
yeah,
to play it. So let me fix it. But I can't fix it if I don't know the game.
yeah,
Yeah, man. So it's deep. It's deep, man. So we touched on a lot of stuff today, man.
yeah.
We definitely got to have a part two to this. You got any questions for
Well,
me?
yeah. So, about that service, I'm thinking about doing it myself. Like I know how to do it, but I just want like a little bit like steps on like how to do it. Cause I'm like sitting there, and it's kind of like I have the information, but I'm stuck on applying. You know what I'm saying? Like
As far as creative
I
finance
understand.
solutions?
Nah, with credit, but I
Okay.
understand like you want to send it certified mail, You want to understand your USC consumer, consumer credit laws. Um, but I just haven't got to it yet. So I wrote up. I wrote up an affidavit because the affidavit is basically truth. Or whatever I stand on that. I need to go to notary and all that stuff. But I just haven't had the confidence in knowing like what I put there and wrote is actually gonna work.
You know what you need to do? What you need to do is you need to apply for a credit card, a hard inquiry for your personal side. Don't do it for your business side. Do it for your personal side. And then once you do that, don't activate the card, because once you activate it, then the hard inquiry can stay. It's a lot harder to get it removed. However, if you get a hard inquiry, practice on yourself and see if the letter work.
Okay.
But I have an ebook that I can share with you, but it's advanced. It's like it's hard to read, but it's up there, and you can definitely repair the credit and apply those principles to your clients.
Okay.
But it's just a lot you're gonna have to learn, man, and just read and be careful because and how you word this type of stuff, because they can report you to the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, for doing repairs. So it's just a certain way you have to word what you're doing, because like I said, it's a game. Right.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna do it for myself. I ain't got no clients and none of that. Like, it's more so me trying to like build up and do business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And get into the trust game. So I've been learning about that as well.
Bro, let me tell you something about that trust law. Be careful, because if you get in trouble, I gotta come get you. But you want to study that. You want to study that in what you call a mastermind. Because if something happened to you, then somebody can come get you out. But if you study it by yourself, you just screwed. If you get caught up, you just screwed, right? But if you got somebody who doing the same thing you doing and you run into trouble, right, they can come and help you get you out, because it's easy to take you by yourself, but not a mastermind.
Yeah, when you got somebody.
Exactly, because you got
what's called.
You got somebody. Because you can't know everything.
Yeah,
but you can know a lot, but you can't know everything, because everybody gotta have their own like little specialty. You see what I'm saying? To make all of y'all valuable in the first place, which you already are because you're in the mastermind. But it just helps. It's a form of protection, right? And you want to just live in that protection. But when you start getting to that trust law, you're gonna start seeing the corruption at its highest level, and you're gonna be like, I don't trust any of y'all. You're gonna get rid of your phone. You're going to get rid of your phone and email. And at that level, you're going to be like, listen, I'm reachable, but I don't got no number, but I'm reachable. Okay. But you got to know, how they reach me. So that's what it's about though, man. You can't really just, I'm going to tell you this, man, it's a dangerous road, bro.
Yeah. It's a dangerous road. It's definitely a journey.
And you gotta, and I'm going to tell you, like, somebody told me, I'm going to tell you, like my father told me, you can't take no books with you.
Yeah.
You can't take no books with you. You got to commit this stuff to your memory, man, because whatever they catch you with can be used against you.
Yeah.
They're going to be thinking, they're going to try to say espionage, treason, act of terrorism, all type of stuff. So you got to burn them books. Once it's up here, it's up here.
Yeah. And
then burn them, man, because you really can't take it with you. You can't take it with you. But that's what I would do. I can help you with the letter too. But you want to, get a hard inquiry and then practice on removing that, or pull your own credit report and then work on the inquiries. But you got to see what's there first.
Okay, cool.
You got to see what's there. But if you got the FCRA and you got it's the FCRA you need, and then there's another one, because I'm sure if you have any medical records too on your credit report, they violated your HIPAA laws, you're going to need the Truth in Lending Act. Truth in Lending. So you're going to need that. You're going to need that too. Because the act's gonna be your best friend, and then it's gonna be your best friend. And then when you get to the level above consumer law and you in the Constitution, then you use that to govern your government, and then you operate in trust law, because that's what keeps government in their place.
Okay, bet.
Yeah, for sure, man. Sure, man. It's a lot of information.
I love hearing it though, because I be talking to people that I've been running a lot of people that actually been like doing the stuff, and it just like more and more people, the more and more I'm like tuning into the information, the more and more people I begin to like come around. But I run into them. It's like, damn, this is awesome.
That's how it works though. But you want to be careful too, because if they change the rules and you don't know about it, you got to keep up with that. You're going to be in trouble. You're going to jail.
For real.
You're going to jail. And they gonna hold you there too, because like, bro, they gonna hold you there too, because like, oh nah, we know what he owned.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? You don't want to be, bucking the system too at the same time. And then like you want to be careful too, because certain information people are going to run with and cause the police trouble and stuff like that. And you don't want to be responsible for, that information being out there and they get it from you.
Correct.
But yeah, and anybody listening to this is not legal advice. If you heard anything in this podcast, this is just us talking from
Only
our
for entertainment
imaginations. Yeah,
purposes.
this is for entertainment purposes. Yeah, this is not legal advice, and we are not financial advisors.
Or
you gotta
lawyers.
let them know.
None of that. No legal advice given.
Whatever you do is on you.
You.
For sure, man. For sure. You got any more questions for
me? We threw out some gems. I mean, a couple of books.
Yeah.
We said it in a way where you couldn't really.
Yeah, you're going to need two. You're going to need a couple of books, and I'll send them to you. I'll send you one. But if you're going to be dealing with the FCRA, then you're going to need the UCC codes.
Yeah.
You're going to need them. But I wouldn't throw them in your letter right just yet. But when you start getting some pushback, you're going to need them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You're going to need them. Yeah, so that's what.
Yeah, we definitely do a part 2, man. We definitely talk about our brands and stuff and how that. I wouldn't say how that relates, but just how like working with banks definitely helps you. Put the brand up. You got to have something to park the money. So
yeah, you got to have some. But you want to borrow. Well, essentially, in any situation, and the people listening to this, the goal is to use them to escape the system. But once you've escaped that and you start cash flowing, the goal is to get away from them and you become the bank.
Yeah.
You have to become the bank. Do not rely on them. You become the bank. And that's what it's about, because they're in the business of making money. If they thought it was a risk to loan out credit, why would they do it? Because the money not real. But but hey, I'm gonna leave it there, man. I'm gonna leave it there. But yeah, man, I had a blast filming this episode with you, man. We definitely got a collab on probably on next week, at the end of this week or whenever, man. Look, I got it all. We can film this thing at 2:00 in the morning, bro. I love the access. Yeah, I love the access that I have, man. In the volume. So whenever you got some free time, man, I love you. Can't even talk today. Hey, man, I've been talking too much. That's just a sign for me to get off. But I'll love to have you back on the show whenever you're free, man, and we can continue this conversation.
All right, bet. Appreciate it, man. Midas Print. I'm out.
You got it, man. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you haven't seen my website yet, it's called daytodaywithdaydream.com, where you can find most of my products and my ebooks that help you navigate your passage of life. Other than that, you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.
Peace.